All right, let's write our saving and loading functions. So before we do this, up at the top, I'm going to need to bring in a few things up here. So I'm going to need to bring in the system, as well as the system.runtime.serialization binary formatter. And then I'm also going to bring in the system input output. All right, so let's write the save function. So I'm going to make a public void called save. And this function is going to do a couple things. Basically, if you are familiar with how to output files in code, we first need to create the an instance of the binary formatter, and we're going to use binary because it's safer to encode things in binary than to just leave it in just plain text. So first we're going to create an instance of the binary formatter. We can call it BF, and then we'll make a new binary formatter. So this syntax should look fairly familiar. We're going to create a file. So in our file stream, this is something in the system. We'll call it file equals file.create. And then in each version of Unity, there is a place where data can persistently be saved, and it's a little bit different in each place, but it's a kind of secure location, and it's called the persistent data path. And then we're just going to add a little string on the end to it so that we can name the folder. So we can call this like playerinfo.dat. So it's a data file. So we've created this file at this location. Then we will create the data that we're going to be writing. So we will do a player data equals a new player data. So what is this? We need to create a serializable reference to the variables that we want to be able to store in our player data. And what we're going to do is down here at the bottom, we're going to create a serializable, make sure you spell it correctly, serializable class that is called player data. And then in this class, the only thing that I'm going to put in it is the public float score. All right, so if you had more than one variable that you're wanting to save, you would just want it to be the same, kind of matching at the top and the bottom. Okay, so we create a new instance of our player data class, and then we're going to say that data.score. So the score data in our player data class is going to be equal to score, which is our variable here. Once we've created this kind of clean copy of our variables that we're trying to save, we only have one variable here, but you might have a bunch. We're going to have our binary formatter serialize it, and then we tell it to write to the file, and the file should be written with the data. And after it is written, we will close the file. So you open up the file, you create the file, create an instance of the player data, set the values equal to the current values in the game, write it out, and then close it. So this is how we create and save a file. The next thing that we want to type out is our loading function. So we'll make a public void called load. Nope. And so first, when we're loading data, we want to first check and see if the file that we saved exists. So we can say if file.exists, and then we will check the file. So I'm just going to copy and paste this. If the file exists, then we will create a new binary formatter. So binary formatter, so same thing. Create a new instance of our binary formatter. we will open up our file. So we will say that the file stream called file is going to be file.open. So before we created it, this time we're opening it. It's going to be the same file name, so I'm just going to paste that in there again. And then the second argument for the open is the mode that your file mode is. So we'll say file mode.open. And then we're going to deserialize our data. So we'll say player data is equal to player data binary formatter deserialize, and then we pass in the file. So we are kind of creating another instance of our player data class that is going to be equal to the deserialized version of whatever is in our file. We will then close our file, and then we will take the score and set it equal to data.score. So basically here we're kind of doing the reverse of what we did when we saved it. So we are making the binary formatter create a file that has a clean version of our score variable, and then we set that equal to the current score, and then we write it out and close the file. Here we check if it exists, then make the binary formatter, open up the file, pull the info out of the file and set it to the kind of clean player data class, and then update our score here with the score from that clean class. And that's basically it. So if you wanted to add in like a second variable, you could do another one, maybe like public bool, like level 2, I don't know, whatever, some kind of boolean here. And then what you would want to do is add that to your player data. So public bool level 2, lowercase l. And then you would just want to add that in your save and your load. So you would say that data dot level 2 is equal to level 2, right? So if you have some boolean that's kind of checking equals data dot level 2, right? So anything, if you ever want to add in more variables that you're trying to save out, it's pretty easy. You just have to add them in these couple different places. And that's it. I will be uploading a commented version of this file to the GitHub. So if you're watching this video, I'm going to replace this with a fully commented version. So keep an eye out for that. But if you have any questions, feel free to email me. Okay, bye. Oh, not bye. Let's demo it. So let's see. Okay, let's demo this. So in Unity, I'm going to take the save button, and then I will associate the save function on the manager. Save. On the load button, I will associate the load button, or the load function. Okay, so if I hit play, my score is 4. I'm going to save it out. And then if I change it to -6, different score, if I click load, it will not work. Yay, load. Let's see. Here, if I play load. Oh, my load function has to update the score. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's actually working. Okay, play. So I've saved it out. Load 4. There we go. So I could change my score, save out a score of 1, load in my score. Yeah. So it's working. If I save again, even if I stop playing the game and play it from the beginning, if I click load, it will load in the last value that I saved. So yeah, there you go.